Hello, beautiful family. How are you all doing? Thank you for the love and the support. So, my beautiful people, today I have a quick one to share with you. One that the normally session never ends. See, you trust this platform, Progress the Analyst. Here we say it the way it should be, and we give you the facts. Now, a lot of things has been happening recently when there is a news everywhere that the Biafra government in exile they sue the Nigeria government. A lot of people said it's not true. Some say, oh, you are lying, fake information, and all that. I've been digging deep to see what I want to see, and now it is obvious. The truth is, they really sue the federal government. I don't really want to talk too much. Let it not be that it's me that is saying it, but I want to bring the information back to back so you follow up. So please listen to this information, and I'll be right back.
Welcome to the first ever press conference by the Biafra government in relation to the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. My name is Dr. Ngozi Robreza, the Chief of Staff to the Biafran Prime Minister. Welcome, everyone. The 2023 Counter Reports on Human Rights Practices in Nigeria by the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor indicted Nigerian government in so many ways of human rights abuse, violations, incarcerations, and killings. Closely related to the search for peace and reduction of killings in Africa is the International Crisis Group Report on African Union. Among the 8 major priorities in 2024 by African Union is the Biafran Ambazonia Alliance, signed in Finland in 2023 during the Biafra Referendum Conference under the leadership of His Excellency Simon Ekpa. This conference heralded the Biafra Charter and other important documents that paved way for Biafra Declaration later this year. Today, Biafrans, through their Prime Minister and our Council, has continued to bring to world attention the violations, oppression, suppression, and inhumane treatment that Biafrans go through under the Nigerian government. From 1967 to 1970, when Biafra was a full-fledged country to date, the young country Biafra was thwarted by the Nigerian government with over 3 million Biafrans killed and many children starved to death by the Nigerian government. The policy that placed embargo on food, especially proteins, into Biafra land. Same problems that caused the civil war of 1967 to 1970 still exist today in a more deadly format with the reintegration of terrorists into the Nigerian state, Islamization of Nigeria, and use of 2 laws in one country, creating a very dangerous diversity. A major violation in several human rights reports is the unlawful kidnap, torture, rendition, and continued incarceration of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, by the Nigerian government. Several court rulings in Nigeria, including a United Nations committee set up to look into Nnamdi Kanu's case, have acquitted, discharged him, and sought reimbursement to him from the Nigerian government. But the government have refused to release Nnamdi Kanu or obey any of these court orders, both local and international. A country that has no respect for the rule of law is gone. Nigerian government believes that if it holds Nnamdi Kanu long enough, Biafra agitation and freedom will be abandoned and not realized. Knowing that their mission has failed in that aspect, they turn their attention to the only true disciple son of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, His Excellency Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of Biafra government in exile. Under Simon Ekpa's leadership of millions of Biafrans, and in a recent Twitter poll conducted, 98% of Biafrans voted to exit Nigeria. This fact is undisputable. It is the wish of the people, and it should be respected for peace, equity, justice, and in line with the laws governing self-determination. Biafrans met the criteria for those laws of which Nigeria was a member state and signed those treaties. The issue of the Lekki massacre, a mass burial of innocent victims who participated in the march, was confirmed by the Human Rights Report of 2023. Nigeria government denied killing and burying those innocent children. The truth will always stand the test of time. Other violations by the Nigerian government include the incarceration, torture of Biafrans in different cells across Nigeria, whose only crime was to seek for their own country and to exit a country where non-terrorists are reintegrated into the security apparatus, including military and police. The recent killings in Enugu by Fulani terrorists supported and shielded by the Nigerian military and government is documented. Hundreds of killings in different parts of Nigeria, including the Ehamofo killings, the Obibo killings, the Mbo killings, the Aba killing, recently the Okoama Niger Delta killings, the Olu killings, Borno, Jos, Zamfara, Kaduna, Benue, Abuja, including the Federal Capital Territory of Nigerian killings, persistent and continuous kidnappings of indigenous citizens, school children, undergraduates, women and children with no help from the government, headed by President Tinubu or the army chief under Christopher Musa, or the senators headed by Godswill Akpabio. Little help. Comment on national TVs. No safeguard of lives and properties by the Nigerian government. Biafra exit is a life and death matter. These and many more are the reasons why Biafra seek to exit Nigeria. Biafrans have maintained the Monday sit at home consistently for over 2 years, courtesy of Biafrans and the Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. This act in itself is a form of referendum, and coupled with our established government in exile and de facto homeland administrators, defined geographical area with its people, culture, and origin well defined, the 40 United States of Biafra, each with its governors, whom we call the administrators, deputies, and secretaries. Citizens in these 40 states are loyal to these administrators and to the Biafra government in exile, and have been massively participating in the referendum voting, which is in its second stage. Over 20 million Biafrans that rejected the past election in Nigeria, which was documented on Nigeria INEC website, many of them have voted for the Biafra referendum, and more are still voting daily as we speak. Biafrans are at the point where we are facing extinction and begging to leave from the Nigerian government and sponsored Fulani terrorists who kill, maim, and occupy indigenous Nigerians' home without any consequences from the Tinubu government. During the recent killings in Plateau State, one of the sitting legislators noted that the practice of these terrorists is to attack communities who, out of fear, ran away from their homes, then only for the same home to be occupied by foreigners in a few months' time. This is happening across the whole country. The act of depopulate and occupy is what the Nigerian government and their terrorist loyalists use to eliminate thousands of indigenous Nigerians and Biafrans every year. How could a government that reintegrates non-terrorists as an approved policy be asking world leaders to help fight terrorists? This game is ended. These killings, burning of homes and businesses targeted at Biafrans by the Nigerian government using both the military, police, and reintegrated terrorists can no longer be tolerated. The continuous attack of Biafra businesses in different parts of the country, such as in Lagos, Kaduna, Abuja, Kano, and the economic sabotage of Biafrans on a daily basis by the Nigerian Tinubu government can no longer be tolerated or swept under the carpet. Remember the 20 pounds given to all Biafrans at the end of the Civil War, regardless of how much any Biafran had in the bank. Such wickedness against Biafran persists to date, and we cannot accept it anymore. Biafrans have risen up to defend themselves from these constant killings, oppression, suppression, and economic destruction. For many years, we've marched on the streets, we've carried placards to express our wish, we've consulted publicly and privately with stakeholders, we've reached out to foreign bodies such as the United Nations for help. In all this, what do we get? More reprisals, more killings of unarmed citizens, marginalization, hatred, subjugation, intimidation, and above all, continued violation of our rights, land, and property by the Nigerian government, their allies, and their supporters. This is against all international laws and treaties they sign with other countries. Nigerian government believes in the use of the barrel of the gun to silence those who do not wish to be part of their terrorist state and agenda. Even innocent women and children who were not involved or against what they do end up being murdered. So this shows that whether you defend yourself or not, Nigerian government will kill you using the reintegrated terrorists whose agenda is to depopulate and conquer. The government agenda approved and signed by Nigerian government and legislators and reintegrate these terrorists in different formats, including the one called Ruga, of which they used to spread across the whole Nigeria. The Fulani tactics of divide and conquer is a strong tool which they've employed over the years in many African regions, including Biafra land. They financially and politically corrupt the governors, legislators, local leaders, townships, and citizens to continue their heinous crime. These inner part in the divide and conquer game are the insiders in the United States of Biafra who are being used by the Nigerian government, killer governors in the Southeast and South-South, as well as those who are benefiting financially from the Nigerian government to distract, manipulate, and destroy the Biafra struggle. But have no doubt, the crop of Biafrans in the forefront of this struggle today has systematically, through due diligence, investigation, and information, identified most of these saboteurs and their tactics, and will continuously be treated as enemy of the people. Finally, the intervention and actions of the African Human Rights Commission and other world bodies are needed urgently as we move towards the declaration of the independent state of Biafra on December 2nd, 2024 in Finland. On this note, I thank our leader, Onyendu Nnamdi Kanu, for your steadfastness, resilience, and your stand for peace, equity, and justice. Keep holding on. At this point, please permit me to call on our one and only indefatigable epitome of resilience, a man whom our leader, Onyendu, commanded Biafrans to go and follow and do what he says, because he is bringing a new dimension to this liberation process. The man that opened the eyes of Biafrans and the world to the iniquities, sufferings, killings, danger, and systematic elimination process of indigenes by the Nigerian government and state. The man whom the Nigerian president, army, police, government, senators, House of Rep, and their cabals could not sleep when they remember him. The one whose name is like a thunderbolt to the ears of the oppressors and killers. The man whose enemies post on Twitter faceless, without any face. The man who has consistently exposed the ills and wickedness and killings of the Nigerian government to the international stage. And for the first time, the world became aware of the ills being perpetrated by the Nigerian government and their cronies on a whole new level. This guy has shaken Nigeria to its roots, and nothing, absolutely nothing will stop him, because he has the mandate of Biafran people with him. We fully support his actions towards our liberation from a terrorist state. He has threaded where many failed, and his wisdom and commitment to Biafra restoration sets him on the highest pedestal.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, I see it. So anyway, here we're talking about Biafra versus Nigeria. That's the heading. So the Nigerians will see this, and they will see, the first thing they see is the word Biafra, which will just cause them immense pain, because that's the word that can't be said. And they have to answer. They don't have to. They have to answer to Biafra. That's the significance of this. And we achieved the file stamp, which is on a different one there. But anyway, so that's what we've done, is do this, and we come not begging them for help. We're giving notice to the African. What we're essentially doing is giving notice to the African Union that they need to convey our information directly to the Nigerian government, bring the Nigerian government before the African Commission to answer our complaint, and they need to answer that complaint before the results are in from the referendum. Why is that? Because when the referendum for the reinstatement of Biafra occurs, and when the results are in, Nigeria is going to implode, because legally, a referendum is the way to achieve independence. We're following the law. A referendum is the internationally recognized way to achieve self-determination, or in this case, bring back the self-determination that really never went away. But now, because there's a unified government, it's going to come again. So we're asking the African Union on an emergency basis, hey, talk to these Nigerians, bring them in there, and let's get a peaceful transition going on. A peaceful transition. And, this is what we want. We also want a plan for the reparations. We want the reparations. I'll see if I can turn off the screen sharing. We got it on, but we'll get it back off. Let's see. I can't get it off. So anyway, that's why I was like, oh, here we go. Stop it. All right. So anyway, we want them to come in, and we want to stop the implosion. We don't want unnecessary violence, because we want a peaceful transition. We want the African Union to lend its good offices to make that smooth transition occur. We want a plan for reparations for economic abuses and human rights abuses. And this is what we're asking. And we're asking as an equal, a co-equal to Nigeria, because we are Biafra. And that's what we're doing here before the African Commission. And that's the approach we're going to take in every other legal proceeding, that it is the Republic of Biafra, which is a co-equal to Nigeria. And this is how we're going to use the legal system and use the international system, because, as the Prime Minister has pointed out, we must defend ourselves. But we have possible ways to do this, to get the international recognition that is due. And one way to do this is a referendum, going to the international organizations. But if the Nigerians insist, then there's no choice but self-defense. But again, as a last resort. But this is the multi-level approach that we're using. And we expect, on an emergency basis upon which this was filed, that the Nigerian government will answer this communication before the referendum date at the end of November, before the referendum results are due. We've made this very clear, that Nigeria must be brought into the Banjul process before the end of November. And we will wait and see what happens. If the Nigerians refuse, then the African Union will proceed without them under their rules.
So, my wonderful family, that brings us to the end of this update. Do well to like the video, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and bye-bye.